Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. So let's take a look at what we're discussing. Of course, Pakistan versus England. The test match continues. We're almost to the close of play as well. England are 83 for 1 in 17.2 overs, so they're maintaining that steady run rate as well. They're, of course, I think cruising at the moment, one might say. Zach Crawley has just scored his half century on 55 deliveries. He's on 53, not out Joe Root on 30 of 47. Both lead England's charge, so that run rate is going to be a very important factor. Pakistan 556 all out, and of course we talk about the skipper who was the top scorer. He played brilliantly when you talk about day one, but after his dismissal, and Abdullah Shafiq, of course, who both of them scoring 100, Shan scoring 151 to be precise, then it was sort of a disappointment where Babar got out on 30, Rizwan couldn't score. So Shakil did steady the ship for 82 runs, but unfortunate that he couldn't convert it. And I always keep on saying our conversions are very, very bad. So we need to talk about that as well. And then, of course, Naseem Shah scoring a handy 33 as a night watchman. I don't want to call him that, but he did the job pretty well. And then, of course, we move on to Salman Ali Agha scoring 104 not out. A wonderful innings. 91 first-class matches for Salman Ali Agha. They completely show us why it's important to have a good first-class background if you want to play international cricket, and I think that really sets the case very high as well. And then, of course, a handy 26 for Shaheen Shah Afridi as well. For England's bowling card, it was a bit difficult, but Gus Atkinson and Karsh taking 2 wickets each. Jack Leach was the pick of the bowlers. He took 3 wickets, and of course Joe Root and Shoaib Bashir and Chris Woakes picking up 1 wicket each. So all the boxes ticked, but a difficult day for England. You talk about these 2 days. Pakistan have just taken 1 wicket, courtesy of Naseem Shah, with a splendid catch by Amir Jamal to remove the skipper Ollie Pope, who was a makeshift opener because of the fact that Ben Duckett was injured, but Pakistan still have their work cut out. Then we move on to the Women's T20 World Cup, where England absolutely outclassed South Africa to win this game as well. It's a very important fixture. Tonight, it's a very, very important fixture for our group. Australia take on New Zealand in this all-important Women's World Cup encounter. Action live from 7 p.m. onwards. You can catch it live as well. Of course, that's really going to set the tone for our group. Otherwise, we've seen the dominance of New Zealand, Australia, and also the West Indies and England, to be precise. So I think many people would make up for their 4 semi-finalists, but then again, we will be discussing all of this in detail as well. And then, of course, we move on. We've got more. Then, of course, we talk about all the games that proceeded over the weekend as well. We give you the latest updates. And then, of course, we move on and we discuss mixed martial arts in detail as well. It was the 3rd edition of Super Fights at the HUFC Club in Lahore, and it was a fantastic one. About 6 fights in total, 3 of them international. Pakistan beating Afghanistan. Afghanistan, of course, beating Egypt as well. In the main event, Babar Ali was just superb against his Egyptian opponent, Ahmed Khalil. Match, was completely, I think, one-sided. It ended in the first 30 seconds. So it was absolutely fantastic on the end of Babar as well. Babar, of course, resides in Pakistan, trains in Pakistan, but represents Afghanistan internationally. So it was a superb fixture. The Pakistan MMA Federation, of course, being led by their president, Mr. Babar Raja, a part and parcel of this as well. And the HUFC Club deserve a lot of applaud as well. It's a fantastic facility when you talk about MMA or other fitness routines as well. But it was a fantastic evening for MMA. Mehwish Beg from Pakistan, if you talk about her. Imam Beg, to be precise, my apologies. Imam Beg was fantastic. She defeated her Afghan opponent and she clinched the title for Pakistan. She was brilliant in those 3 rounds. So ruthless, absolutely. It was her first victory on the international circuit as well. So great talent for MMA in Pakistan, courtesy of Super Fights 3 at the HUFC Club. Time now to discuss things in detail. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by cricket commentator, international broadcaster, presenter, and our sports expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by a cricket writer and aspiring journalist as well, Amal Nadeem. Assalamu alaikum, Amal. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm good, and how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking, and thank you for joining us as well. We've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst, a regular feature of our programs, Mr. Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum, Sabir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
Great to have you as well. Sabir is a very happy man today, considering Pakistan. So they've done the job right as well. But let's take a look at a report, and then we continue things in detail.
opener Saim Ayub dismissed for a catch behind the wicket. However, skipper Shan Masood led a strong recovery, making 151 runs, which included 13 fours and 2 sixes. Masood is marked to be the 34th Pakistani cricketer to score 2,000 runs and third Pakistani captain to hit a test century against England in the home ground. Abdullah Shafiq also contributed significantly with a century, scoring 102 runs with 10 fours and 2 maximums.
Not for much longer. Nicely played. That is beautifully played. He reaches 100 with a 6. And that is his 5th 100 in test matches.
Babar Azam added 30 runs, helping Pakistan reach a total of 3 with 4 wickets down. For England, Jack Leach bagged 3 wickets, while Atkinson and Bryden Cars took 2 wickets each.
And there you have it. Our gratitude to Ms. Sabah for the latest details regarding this test match as well. And of course, like I said, England are cruising at the moment. Asif, how would you sum up these 2 days of play?
Well, of course, that everybody would like to praise Pakistan's batting, and Shan Masood played very well. There was a very fantastic knock, courtesy that flat track. I don't know what Pakistan is thinking, you know, that we lost against Bangladesh. We're so much obsessed about winning. To be honest, that you lost against Bangladesh just because of your poor planning and poor cricket. It was nothing to do with the pitches. Pitches were absolutely perfect. And then you're putting pressure on your chief curator, Tony Hamming, that make pitches in the favor of batting. And then you're making 500 runs. The way England is replying, to be honest, they're able to make it easily. And who knows that if they will go behind 500, and then what will happen for Pakistan? Because do remember 26 for 6, this is what happened against Bangladesh. And once again, Pakistan lost on that scenario. But after making 500, I'm not sure that Pakistan, what kind of pitches they're making. To be honest, this idea is rubbish idea.
Absolutely. I would say that, you know, on one side of the picture, it's a positive for us. The reason why most of us are celebrating is we're not used to seeing 500 plus runs from Pakistan, especially on our own home conditions. So that really sets the bar high.
Please play brave cricket. It does not mean that make these kind of pitches easy pitches,
right,
where even Naseem Shah and Shaheen Shah Afridi is scoring and Babar Azam is not scoring.
Well, I really wanted Babar to, you know, make a very strong comeback over here, but fate had other plans. Amal, how would you highlight these 2 days of play, especially if you talk about today now, since Pakistan's all out? England are cruising at the moment, so they're not backing down. They're going to continue with that run rate.
Ahmed, I would like to start off with the positives first, because obviously we did lose a very early wicket of Saim Ayub, which was disappointing but not at all surprising. But the way Abdullah and Shan took the innings forward, they played mature cricket, because Shan was playing on a relatively faster pace and Abdullah took his time to complete his century. So I thought they were both mature. They were not taking a lot of risk and taking the innings forward. Again, because we're talking about the pitch, as Kevin Peterson said, that it is going to be a graveyard for the bowlers, because it was such an easy pitch to score runs. But again, Babar failed once again, because 30 on a pitch like this is not a very good score. But Salman Ali Agha, the century by him, and Saud Shakil's 82, I think that also did a lot of help in our target. And I am glad that Shan did not have to declare the innings, because I was quite worried at what score was he planning to do that. But you know, when we're talking about England's batting, I'm not surprised again, because the pitch is so flat. It was expected that they will score these runs anyway. So I think our bowlers really need to back up.
Well, certainly. I think the bowlers right now have got their work cut out, because it's going to be very important that you've got runs on the board, how you respond. But more than that, it's going to be the tactical captaincy that comes to play as well. Sabir, you're a happy man considering Pakistan's job well done in the batting department. But, you know, the question for quite some time has been our bowlers. Do they have the ability? Because to win test matches, you need to take those 20 wickets.
Look, I mean, life's all about to basically pick positivity. I mean, I would like to take so many positive from this particular test match, especially from first 2 days. I mean, Shan Masood, he has been criticized a lot for so many months. I would say not because of the Bangladesh series, but the way basically we have lost against Australia. We were basically so close. But again, heads off to the team management. I mean, they basically with a couple of batsmen, I would say, especially Abdullah Shafiq. He had a bad patch couple of series ago, but I mean, good to see these kind of technically batsmen basically are in the team and now they are performing. Heads off to Abdullah Shafiq, the way basically he batted, so many remarkable shots, I would say, especially the back foot cut. I mean, I really liked it. And as far as Shan Masood, performance individually is concerned, yes, in the press conferences we have talked about, we have criticized a lot as far as his individual performance is concerned, but basically the way he has batted, 150 runs, strike rate of more than 90 is remarkable. This is the kind of a captaincy we basically everybody wanted. And as far as South Shakil's contribution is concerned, Babar Azam, he was unlucky. He played some wonderful shots, especially the two back cut four boundaries and cover drives, the trademark Babar Azam shots. The vulnerable point for Pakistan, especially the bowling department, because we have seen Khurram Shahzad's performances, Mir Hamza's performances. We have seen there's no any kind of a red ball form as far as Shaheen Shah Afridi is concerned, along with Naseem Shah as well. It will be interesting to see how basically Pakistani bowling will be utilizing.
You utilize the ball, and then of course the second most important subject right now is that when they charge, how do you handle that as well? So that Asif, I think, becomes a very important subject right now, because look, what we've analyzed so far from the English innings is that they're going to play their natural brand of cricket. They're going to make sure that the runs tally keeps on ticking even if they lose a couple of wickets as well.
Well, I mean, see, the England, the way they are playing cricket from last couple of years, especially this baseball approach, they love to play attacking cricket. And if you're coming up with the defensive approach, because Shan Masood, after all, he is not an attacking captain. After scoring 150, I cannot change my views about him. Yes, he played well done, but you'd have to do something extraordinary. Go for the win, don't go for the draw. Right now, the scenario is that if English batters are playing like this, of course, they came up with a positive intent. And the intent is that, yes, we will go for the chase. And when you go for the chase, of course, there's the chances of losing wicket. But in this pitch, if you're making any mistake, then you will lose your wicket, as Babar Azam or Saim Ayub or the other batters they've done. But nothing extra or nothing special for the bowlers. Maybe on day 4 and day 5 we'll see a bit of spin, but who's gonna do that? Either Agha Salman or Abrar. Abrar is right now under pressure. The way English batters are handling him, they're playing so well against Abrar. And same with the fast bowlers, that if you're looking towards to get some a reverse swing, then who's gonna bowl above 140? That's the question.
That's the pace tally has been a question mark for quite some bowlers at the moment. But Amal, there is an issue over here of bowling longer spells, and I think more than the skill, sometimes it's necessary to preserve your product as well. Had it been a better option if Mir Hamza was given a go in this test match rather than Shaheen Shah Afridi, just for the sake of preserving him? You've got an Australia tour coming up, a tri-season, and then a Champions Trophy.
Ahmed, because the score right now on which we got all out is not a very bad score. So we can take that edge that it might be sufficient enough to give them some psychological pressure, which we have that edge. While you're talking about Mir Hamza and Shaheen Shah Afridi, because Shaheen had an injury in the recent Champions Cup, which will obviously affect his performance, because the series started just after the Cup. So I think that Mir Hamza, yes, he could have been a better option, because we had Naseem Shah already. So a senior pacer was already leading the pack. So in that regard, yes, but I'm thinking that because the day is ended right now, we have the whole day to plan things, and let's hope that tomorrow we can get some early wickets, because that is going to be very important.
Hope is something that is magical. Of course, it's always supposed to give you
There's
that.
nothing else we can do.
At the moment, of course, because I think it's not just England who've got a fantastic run rate. The economy rate of our bowlers was equally fantastic so far. So that charge has been very, very particular. Only Amir Jamal bowled 3 overs. Otherwise, there was 7 from Naseem, 6 from Shaheen Shah Afridi. And then, of course, Abrar was a mystery anyway. So I think that really sets the case as well. But then, of course, I think we'll be talking about this test match and all the details as well, and how Pakistan should start tomorrow. I think that first session tomorrow is really going to define the tone as well. But simultaneously, the ICC Women's T20 World Cup is also underway. Let's take a look at this report.
ICC Women T20 World Cup 2024 scheduled to take place in October. This tournament is significant for the growth of women's cricket in the region. The tournament features 10 teams competing for the title. In the opening match of the ICC Women T20 World Cup, Bangladesh secured a victory over Scotland by 16 runs, showcasing their strong performance. Following that, the Pakistan women's cricket team faced Sri Lanka and emerged victorious, winning by 31 runs. South Africa then continued their winning streak, defeating the West Indies women by 10 wickets. New Zealand also had a notable win, beating India by 58 runs, demonstrating their dominance in the game. Australia then triumphed over Sri Lanka in their match, further solidifying their reputation in the tournament. One of the most anticipated clash was between Pakistan and India women's team, where India claimed victory. Looking ahead, the next match will feature Australia women going up against New Zealand women, promising another thrilling encounter in this prestigious tournament.
There you go. Malika gives us the details of the Women's World Cup so far. And like I said, tonight's a very important fixture. Australia taking on New Zealand. That's going to set the tone for this group as well. But Sabir, there have been some notable performances for Pakistan. It was a tremendous victory against Sri Lanka. But then again, same disappointment with India. But overall, we were just discussing during that as well that New Zealand has been very fantastic. So has Australia and England been as well.
Absolutely, our Pakistan basically they have been performing really well, especially in the first match against Sri Lanka. Though when we basically lost the warm-up matches, against Bangladesh and Scotland, we basically fought hard against India. I would say we batted. We should have batted properly. I think the game awareness should have been there. The way basically Fatma Sana basically got out in that particular over, she basically got so many runs. Nida Dar, she has to basically accumulate the runs, and strike rate is very important. We have been talking about Nida Dar for so many times. She is basically she's consuming so many balls, I would say. Then the role of Alia Riaz should be defined. She is a senior player. She basically needs to come up and basically make some contribution for the team, because Fatma Sana cannot give you runs again and again.
Right, a short break, but we'll be right back. Right, welcome back, and of course we're discussing the Women's World Cup. Asif, your analysis so far, are we qualifying?
To be honest, looks very, very difficult because we lost against India, and now we have two very important matches, Australia and New Zealand. We never beaten New Zealand. Pakistan team doesn't look good. See, if you talk about the team, the all-rounders, especially Nida Dar, she's not performing up to the mark. And then Fatma Sana is a young captain. We just support them. We are best wishes for them, but looks very, very difficult task for them. Yeah,
task up ahead is monumental, I must say. But Amal, the problem has been a sort of a traditional one right now, where once again we end up being 20-30 runs short of a good total.
Yeah, obviously, because we might not qualify, but there are a lot of positives that we can take and learn from a lot of our mistakes. Obviously, our batting lineup continuously fails. So it's it's not an everyday thing to defend 117. And even though that our bowlers put up a good fight to again defend a very low total, but the batters need to give them a sufficient score so that they can do that.
Absolutely, I must say, the task up ahead looks very difficult, but then again, still achievable. Thank you very much, Amal K. Asif and Sabir Hussain, for joining us. On that note, we move on to football. It's the English Premier League in detail. Let's take a look at this report and then we continue.
Showed little in terms of comeback, and the Seagulls held out for a famous victory.
Well, there you have it. Malika gives us the details of the English Premier League. To discuss it further, in studios we've been joined by sports expert Malik Usman Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, Usman. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well.
Well, the dominance from one side continues in the Premier League. It's never a different story, but then again, there are some particular games to talk about. And first of all, I must talk about Manchester United. Otherwise, Ali Mehdi would be cursing me at home. So I must talk about them. That once again, it's the same picture, and Aston Villa just proved to be, I don't know, what a too much difficult opponent for them to get through.
I think Aston Villa has been doing extremely well in the past one season. They have beaten Bayern Munich, mind you, and getting a draw at Aston Villa is an excellent result for this kind of Manchester United performance. A draw, I think they would suffice. They may have gone for a dull draw, and they got what they wanted. Ter Hag has been under fire. He's been under the cosh and the pump for some time now, and the games against Porto in the Europa League and a game against Aston Villa was supposed to be the end of his time in Manchester United, but he has got 2 draws, obviously dull draws. There were nothing dominating in those 2 games for Manchester United, but I think they would be happy with this 0-0 draw, and I think points have been lost by Aston Villa.
Well, Liverpool once again have started their campaign on a positive note, and people were a bit skeptical about them, how they're going to continue this season, but then again I think so far so good for them.
Arne Slot has been lucky with the fixtures that have began for them in this English Premier League season. I think they had very light fixtures. They had only one reasonable game, that was against Manchester United away, and how Manchester United is performing, you can say that that was again a B or C grade team, and that was not a top of the table team, as Slot put it in one of his press conferences. I think the tough tasks are going to come in the future games, and it is going to be a tough ask for Liverpool. You could see the game against Southampton, they just squeezed through in that game as well. There was 1-0. It was home Anfield, and I think the tougher tests are going to come for them. They have been lucky that they have been having virtually full strength side throughout the past 7-8 games, but they are going to face some real good music in the coming games.
Absolutely, and then of course we come to the home favourite Arsenal as well, who every season for the past 2 years have looked ever so close of that trophy, and every time we've repeated the same rhetoric that it's there to lose, and eventually that's what has happened.
Eternal bridesmaid of English Premier League, we have to admit it. I think the year when Leicester City won the title,
yes,
they had a fabulous chance of winning the league that season, and this season is going to be the second best chance since that season. I think Liverpool is going to struggle after some time because they are going to get some really tough matches, and they have a good playing 11. I'm not so sure about their squad as a whole. Talking about Manchester City, since they sold Alcaraz, they did not have any replacement for him, and Rodri out for the season is a massive problem for Manchester City. They just cannot substitute him. So that leaves us with Arsenal having full strength. They have been performing well for the past 2 seasons. They have come of age. The squad is much more senior than the past 2 years. They have started well. They have Saka in his prime, and Havertz is showing some good colors. That why he was so highly rated at Bayern Leverkusen, and Martinelli of late has been doing really well as well. All in all, it's a very good package for Arsenal. I think this league is going to be for them to lose.
Well, to City's credit, you know, I do agree that it's been a haywire fixture week for them as well. I mean, you know, if you talk about the last Premier League game which they played against Newcastle that ended in a 1-1 draw, immediately if you talk about this current week, they were facing Slovan Bratislava in their Premier League, in their Champions League encounter, 4-0 victory there, and then of course in the span of 3 days they just won against Fulham as well. So packed schedule, but I think by this time City is that only one team which is probably used to this by now.
See, we have always underestimated the contribution Pep Guardiola has made for this football, and especially for Manchester City. Many a times his key players have not been there in the playing 11, yet he has grinded out results. Just look at this playing 11. His best player Kevin De Bruyne is injured. His second best player Rodri, who is a candidate for Ballon d'Or, is out of the season. Yet he's there in the mix for the title of English Premier League, is in the top 3. So you have to give credit sometimes to the coach's tactical onus as well. It's not always about the key players that are playing or featuring in the playing 11 or day in day out. Looking at how this Champions League season is going to feature, there are 2 more extra games as well for all the Champions League team. I wonder Arsenal is going to flung Sevilla very early in the tournament. They are going to go out and they have to put all their focus on the Premier League. Manchester City, I'm not so sure. Looking at Pep Guardiola's mental strength, he goes for titles for all the tournaments he features in. So I think with the squad depth that Manchester City has this time around, it is slightly tweaked, and 2 of his best players, one out of the season, second on and off he gets injured, is a big problem. I think Haaland has to be fit throughout the season. If he is injured for a couple of games, City has their work cut out.
Well, certainly, and I think on the other end of it, both City and Premier League have claimed victory in their legal battle. So that is another case that continues. You know, Premier League claiming that APT rules have been deemed necessary. City have of course filed a lawsuit against those rules as well. So, it just surprises us every week. There's every week there's something new to talk about the Premier League.
This is extremely disappointing. I think footballing matters should be solved on the football pitch. But whenever you're talking about the cases, the charges that are going on, I think one club that would be very happy that things have started, it has to be Manchester City. They want to get this burden off their shoulder, and whatever happens, whether it goes in their favor or it goes against them, I think they want this to be removed from their way so they can completely concentrate on their work day in, day out.
Well, to his credit, Guardiola is that one man that can put all of this aside and still continue with greatness. So that is that. But thank you very much, Malik Usman Ahmed, for joining us. That wraps up the Premier League. That wraps up the program as well. But before we go, we've got a special package to share with you regarding the fixture of MMA in Pakistan. Super Fights 3 was an extravagant event at the HUFC club in Lahore in Pakistan. Tremendous fights that were there on offer as well. You take a look at this report, but from me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.
The Super Fights Season 3 event held on October 7, 2024 at HUFC Club Lahore in partnership with SA Gardens and the Pakistan Mixed Martial Arts Federation successfully showcased local and international MMA athletes. The event drew praise from Sheikh Irfan Aslam, a special guest who commended its flawless execution. Pakistan Mixed Martial Arts Federation President Babar Qayyum Raja emphasized the importance of super fights as a significant step forward for MMA in Pakistan, serving as a platform for athletes to gain international recognition. Special acknowledgement was given to HUFC Club for consistently providing a world-class venue, playing a crucial role in the sport's growth in the country. The collaboration of SA Gardens, HUFC Club, and Pakistan Mixed Martial Arts Federation further solidified efforts to promote MMA across Pakistan.